Hello, Monique van Dusseldorp here. Welcome everybody. There's 50 more people watching this particular session on innovations in the advertising industry, and we have quite a lot to discuss. And we've got 4 excellent people here who are all working at the cutting edge and innovating, not just innovating technically, but also innovating business models, innovating how you work with partners. We're going to listen to them, and to understand who they are, I'm going to introduce them one by one and ask them each one question. So, guys, this is just so the people understand. Why don't we start with Robert? Robert,
Hi.
you are the yes, welcome. You're managing director, managing partner of TV for Publicis Media. Now, Publicis is a giant, right? It's 10 billion worldwide and
Yeah,
dominating the
roughly.
ad space. It's huge. What exactly is your role there? Maybe you can explain a little bit.
Yeah, within Publicis Media in Germany, I oversee all the classic TV planning and buying activities we have for our client, but I'm also in charge for our cross-screen activation part because all the silos are breaking down. We have to think more and more in terms of video, and that's why I'm also here, because digital advertising opportunities for FTA broadcasters are also an opportunity for us.
So you actually look at both what's happening in the traditional TV field, the new TV formats, the channels that we have, but also internet, online streaming, and everything happening in that space?
Yes, exactly. Because I'm very convinced that in a few years, what we now describe as TV will be completely different in a few years. So there will be a different mixture of TV and digital. The silos are breaking down.
Yeah. And just a quick last question before we introduce the other panelists as well. If you look at the German market, where you are now very active, it's a very big market. What area is the most innovative? What innovations do you now see in your market?
Well, I think, especially in comparison to other countries, I think we were quite good in terms of developing addressable TV standards based on HbbTV technologies, but also combining this more and more in terms of connected TV. So this whole digital advanced TV area space, I think we are pretty far good in it. But of course, there is more and more to do. A lot of fields we have to discover and we need to get better in. But I think we are pretty good at it.
Yeah, because we'll come back to HbbTV because that's one of those areas which is completely different country by country for sure. Michael, you are General Director of the Ad Alliance, and as such also an addressable TV pioneer. Now we'll come back to all the terms because connected TV, addressable TV, not the same. It's a bit of a mix-up in the world right now. Can you explain what Ad Alliance does? I mean, I looked it up. If I understand correctly, RTL, which is the mother company of the Ad Alliance, which works for RTL and a lot of other companies as well, does 2.5 billion in ad revenues. That's huge. Of which 1.7 billion is done TV, I think. What is the area that you are specifically responsible for?
Yeah. So I'm, as I said, General Director working for the Ad Alliance. It is the sales house of the RTL Germany. And my main focus of my work is to sell addressable TV in Germany, of course.
Yes. Well, and so you specifically sell addressable TV in Germany. So how many households can you already reach with addressable TV services now?
So in Germany, we have like more than 50% of German households have a smart TV that are connected to the internet. That means it's around about nearly 20 million households. And currently we have 14.5 million which are addressable for database advertising.
Okay, database advertising via smart TVs. Do I understand correctly? That's not using HbbTV as a platform, but you have your own platform that you use, right?
HbbTV, that's kind of like the standard for delivering addressable TV within the linear TV signal. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, but you also deliver a lot to the connected TVs, the smart TVs.
Exactly. So this is one of our main foundation of our work and strategy to cover all different platforms. Might it be HbbTV, might it be your own apps, the RTL app, might it be live streams via app, or might it be video on demand, or even on external providers to cover all the whole value chain and on one ad tech stack to be able to deliver.
Because we'll definitely come back to that, because going over those silos has advantages for some and disadvantages for others, right? But let's come back to that. And if you look at the innovation area, what is the most innovative part that's happening in your company? What are the things that are happening there that you think like, that's what we...
So ATV is definitely one of the most important and future topic of broadcasters, of course, because it bridges both worlds, TV and digital. And ATV is kind of like the step-by-step transformation from a one-to-many to an individualized one-to-one ad server data-based advertising delivery. So in that development over the last few years, we established display as formats like L banner, or we call it in German XXL formats. Of course, we have far more bigger formats like masthead, but the next evolutionary step is to enable all our ATV and digital inventories for cross-targeting, cross-device targetings, like incremental reach, OTS optimization, or on a household level, and advanced first-party data targetings to decrease, of course, scatter losses.
Okay, we'll get back to that, because if I understand correctly, what Ad Alliance also does, which might not sound like innovation, but is relevant for the industry, is that you work for also kind of non-RTL companies. So you bring a huge mass of people together by also working for Ziggo, Walt Disney, Viacom, Discovery, and so forth. Right? I mean, but let's come back to that later. Eva, you're the business manager for HbbTV at TV Nova. I looked it up. I think 180 million or 34 million in ad revenue. I mean, it's for the market it's in. It's a really important channel, and you do a lot of things. And tell me what you're working on right now.
Hi to everyone. I'm Eva Donagwa, and as Monique already said, I am a business development at TV Nova, which is the biggest TV broadcaster in Czech Republic, and currently now has 30% of householders HbbTV connected. So it's mean we can target this 2.4 million people with HbbTV ads. And right now we are improving our targeting, which is called Max Reach. And I have already talked about this special targeting in the last session.
Yeah, we talked about it half a year ago, so right?
Yes. And we are working on it because the last year it was the pilot. It was the first targeting, and now we can combine this targeting with the other data. It's mean the previous version was just if the TV devices have seen or have not seen some content, and now we can combine it with how often TV devices have seen the content. So now we can target also the light viewers or heavy viewers. So it's what's going on at TV Nova with the HbbTV innovations.
And advertisers really seem to like that, right? That they can understand how often their ads are seen by whom and so forth. Okay, great. Thank you so much. And then last but not least, of course, Francesco, you run everything at RAI, is my feeling. And RAI is huge. Oh gosh, 2.5 billion revenue for public broadcast. I was so impressed when I read that. But can you tell us what you are responsible for in the field of advertising, new channels, and what's happening there?
Yeah, thank you, Monique, for invitation first, and hello to everybody. So it's fine your feeling about my job in RAI, because we have the meeting last year. If you remember talking about the radio, I changed a little bit my job title right now, but I mainly drive all the sales activity on digital. But as my colleague anticipate, this is a very evolution work, mainly on the Italian market, that run very, very fast also on our competitors. So my role is a little bit different. I leave the radio also because the digital activity is very, very big at the moment, also because I enlarge a little bit my profile, as we can find the better balance between digital pure and television classic. We have already discussed, and it's a very important key for us. You know, we are a leader in terms of audience on the linear television. We reach more or less 30% share every evening on television. And the challenge now for our companies is again to find the right balance, matching the profiling, the number, the DMP number and so on of digital. Consider that we have more than 20 million subscribers on digital platform, and we have to find the right match between those number and the television classic audience. You know, sorry.
No, you have a huge base to try things out on already, right?
Yeah.
So the 20 million, you can find out what they like and don't like. And so if you look at, lots of channels, lots of viewers, what is the innovations what are the innovations you are trying out there? What is new and
now we are
appropriate?
working very, very hard to matching this number. You know, we start with the profile and the television and digital profile. So the challenge is to match and let that our DMP start to talk with our television data bank. You know what I mean? So it's the key to try to match the huge number of television, linear, and contemporary audience on the prime time evening, and then try to match and add the on-demand user on digital platform. And we try to reverse a little bit the paradigm. So, you know, we are really focused for several years on television in terms of revenue, numbers, and audience, and then grow little bit on digital. Now, what we start to move on the market is to receive a specific brief with data and specific profile, interest, marketing objective on digital, working on the DMP, on our user, on our subscriber, and then match those results with the affinity index on the television program. And now move to the market with a total. We don't talk about digital and television. We start to talk about total digital, multi-screen, cross-screen planning. But again, the key is to match with television classic audience and profile of television audience.
Now, we have a whole list of questions we want to go through. And of course, the big thing is that the personalized addressable advertising has existed for a long time on the internet in all kinds of forms. It didn't exist on television for all kinds of forms, but now it's there. It's coming. It's complicated. You have to do complicated things and work with a lot of partners, but it's there. It's growing. It's growing very fast as well. And of course, the big question is, okay, are the channels, the television channels, actually that strong that they have a real advantage now compared to everything else going on? I think that's an interesting question. Let's first talk about from mass campaigns to digital inventory. So used to be mass campaigns, now you have to build up digital inventories. So it also means you can develop new kinds of inventory, right? I mean, there's new options to, it's not just the commercial block within the movie at 8:30 or whatever. So what are you developing? What are the new kinds of addressable formats and campaigns you are developing? Maybe Robert, you could, and Michael, you both know the German market really well. What is happening there? What is the new inventory? Robert, you could go first.
Well, there's quite a history behind, especially when we talk about addressable TV. What is still often very used is the HbbTV based banner, a so-called switch in, which is a banner overlay within the running TV program, but you can apply a vast range of various targeting opportunities behind. So really apply very detailed targetings, which would never been possible within the classic linear TV world. But this is quite old, to be honest, and what has really grew up in the last month or year is the so-called addressable TV spot. It's existent for now. It's now longer, but it was always a little bit limited inventories, limited targeting opportunities, and therefore limited scale opportunities. But as the inventory really grew up in the last year, also together with the targeting opportunities, we see more and more of our clients really want to get away from this old-fashioned, now let's call it a little bit harshly, switch inward, and now going more and more to this addressable TV spot, which is more or less an overlay within the ad break, but advanced or pimped with really precise targeting opportunities behind. And there is
explain it is in the ad break, but it's an overlay over the other ads where.
Yes, exactly. There are some reserved, for example, the own promotion, the promotion for specific content or programs from the TV channels themselves. But then you can overlay on this nationwide content promotion. You can overlay there a specific spot which has only been seen by the audience you target on. So it's not a nationwide spot anymore. It's then seen by the specific targeted audience you target on. And it's really...
Can you give an example of the kind of targeting that is now possible and being used as well? I mean,
yes, of course. For example, what from my point of view, is really interested if you combine targeting opportunities which are more broader than a pure social demographic approach. For example, targeting on interests, targeting on personas, for example, precisely targeting on Generation Z, which is really hard to achieve within linear TV, precisely targeting, for example, on fashion interested people, on do-it-yourself interested people, just persona targeting, stuff like that. And then really precisely targeting on them, but then with the power of a spot behind on the big screen. I think that really makes addressable TV more and more interesting, the combination of mass reach on the big screen, but combined with the digital power of precise targetings.
Yeah. And Michael, Ad Alliance, of course, you have what do advertisers want? Because they first need to be made aware of this new kind of overlay spots. So do you see other formats coming up now that people start to understand what's possible?
I mean, when we're talking about advertising, you have video or you have display. So Robert covered the topic pretty well, where we are standing on video with addressable TV. And of course, what our next step is, one of the biggest challenges we have is like definitely the fragmentation of audiences across platforms, no matter if it's AVOD, BVOD, linear TV with HbbTV or live streams via dynamic ad insertion. So we as broadcaster, we need or sales house, we require holistic ad tech platform to achieve scalable addressability of all our inventory, screens, and platforms. And of course, to protect our core business of TV or video, we invested heavily in building our own ad tech stack to follow our strategy in being independent of Google and Co. Yeah. So what's important for us is the current evolution step by step that enables us all our ATV and digital inventory for cross-device targeting, like incremental reach, like OTS optimization, of course, what Robert mentioned, with special third-party data or our first-party data targetings to decrease, of course, scatter losses. That's our main focus. And of course, when we're coming very strong from the display side, and now it is time to scaling the solutions of addressable TV on video inventory with live TV, CTV, OTT apps, and our BVOD platforms.
And if I understand correctly, I mean, it's not just that you have to connect all these and have to build a complete stack to be able to address everybody over the different platforms and so forth. But in the case of RTL, I think your leadership very clearly has said we need to do this also to protect ourselves against the Googles and Facebooks and so forth of the world, right? So you build up a bigger database, you know more of all your viewers, you build your own complete own world of information there.
I mean, what we are distributing content, and this content distribution or consummation is fragmenting more and more. It's not only linear TV, it's CTV on apps. It's the option of delivering ad via HbbTV. And of course, you have all the digital on-demand and in-stream and out-stream options. And to be efficient and effective, you have to cover all that together, where you distribute not only your contents, but only from that side, you have to collect the data and be able to distribute the advertising more efficient over these platforms or over this consumption pattern to have a clear target of if you want to reach a household 3 times, it doesn't matter what device he's using or what content
The
he's
phone,
using.
the TV, the iPad, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Sounds like quite a challenge. Quite a challenge. Eva, I know you have done something very special, right? You're combining social media and addressable TV in a way to combine those online experiences with the TV experience. Can you explain a little bit there?
Yes, of course. But can I a little bit talk more about the spot replacement with the guys? Because
Go ahead.
I would like to say the Czech Republic is a few years behind the Germany. We have not launched the spot replacement yet, but I would like to involve the spot replacement in the Czech Republic as well. But I have to say the German is very good in this topic, and I would like to know something more maybe later about the technology and about the spot replacement, because it's really
Private
hot topic.
consultancy. Yeah.
Yeah, we are more about the banner and the displays. Robert already mentioned it. It's a little bit, it's not new fashion, it's quite old fashion, but our advertisers have discovered this ads as good ads. So now we have very good revenues from the banners and from the targeting. So we are happy for that, but we already want to go forward and involve the spot replacement as well, but not this year, maybe the next year, we will see. But I would like to say thank you to Germany, because they are really good in this innovation. And what you mentioned, Monique, thank you for this. We have combined social media and the TV because we discovered this application which copy the Instagram photos to the TV linear. So when you have some picture and you post it on the Instagram with the special hashtag, we can with this TV application copy these pictures on the TV screen, and we combine it with our TV program, and we say our viewers, you can join us, you can see your picture on the TV screen, and you can also win some special stuff. So this is quite new in the Czech Republic, that we combine the TV screen and the social media. It's like application level innovation.
Yeah, but it's an innovation on how to combine, and it creates a completely new kind of inventory as well, right? Because that becomes a new channel in a way as well. Francesco, what happens at RAI? What's the innovation you can see happening in the different kind of formats, the inventory you can sell, the suddenly new advertisers that can join?
Yeah, something is changing very, very fast. I am hearing about Robert speech starting about the growing on connectivity. Just Monique, to give you few numbers. You know that I'm very, very big supporter of the content. You know, working in RAI, it's strategic for us starting from the content. But I have to point two interesting number. The first one is the growing on traffic, on video traffic, legitimate streams on connected TV. And if you bring the Q1 2022 versus the Q1 2021, we have a growth on triple digit, more than 100% it's growing. So this is a huge number. Just to give you an idea about the positioning of the Italian market, you know, something linked with new technology, digital revolution, lockdown, very, very strong on Italian market. And this is a great, very, very big boost. That this is important. Just to give you an idea, we reach more than 40 million video views on a monthly basis on our connected TV. And the interesting thing is that then I arrive to the innovation and the advertising spaces. Another important thing is that more than 35% of our total video views on different platforms is on connected TV. Just to give you an idea in terms of growing, last year, 2021, the share was close to 20. So in a very, very short time, also different approach and experience on different content, because 90% of video views on our connected TV is linked in on-demand content, and more than 50% is fiction content. So just to give you an idea about the profile. So this is very important for us because we sell now the addressable TV and we want to push our profile. So it's very important also what Robert said before. We work a lot, Robert, on Italian market with your company.
And if you, just because we'll go to the audiences and the advertisers later, but are there particular new kinds of formats or campaigns you can now sell?
At the moment, we want to match the television classic spot with with digital break. So at the moment, we sell just pre-roll. So
Okay.
and we have, we have a very, very clean break because we have a very short break before the content on connected TV, as we have just 2 spots in the break. Of course, in an industry exclusive sector, so you don't have to automotive and so on. And the length of the break is 60 seconds, and you can have a maximum 2 spots, 30 seconds each, with a skip after the 15 seconds. So this is our spot, and we match the client with television content and digital profile of the user.
Okay, so for the advertisers, this is still quite, in format is quite traditional. It's very short, but
at the moment, consider that last year we have a very important number of steps of advertising, just to give you the importance of the content and how in the Italian market the television advertising start to move on digital and cross-platform activity. If we bring the first 100 advertiser of Rai Pubblicità in television, classic television, 78% move also on our digital platform.
Okay. Okay, so
this is it's a percentage that growing day by day.
Yeah. All right. Now, of course, it's very different market per market how many households you can reach, and you are working on this bit, the different services. But how do you convince the advertisers that they should do this? I mean, that's basically you will offer them new audiences or the same audience, but you can reach them more often or more specific audiences. What is the thing that advertisers love most about this?
You asking to me, Monica?
Yeah, give you an answer and then I'll do a little round. Yeah.
No, for us it's not easy, as you can imagine, but again we talk about complementary audience. So mainly on connected TV. Just to give you an idea, if we bring all the total audience on connected TV, 81% of the total audience on our connected TV is under 55% years old. So this is a very huge number in terms of complementary audience. You know that on the Italian market, the classic television, it's young adult mainly, and if they want to start to plan and they enlarge the audience, mainly focus on young audience, again, we have to talk with total video. So you have to start with television because you have, Robert say, to reach the huge number of people contemporary. You know what I mean? Just in prime time, just to give you an idea, in 2 hours, reach 7 million television on a channel.
The advertisers like the reach and the age, the specific target group they can.
Age and interest, it's very important. We don't talk just about social demo when we talk about digital profile, but we talk about, again, personas, customer, interest, profile. It is something that we can match with classic audience television people.
Okay. But Robert, I mean, if you look at the German market, what advertisers are already jumping on this? Is this a very specific group? Is this fast-moving consumer goods, or which advertisers get it and are, from their point of view, also experimenting, right? Just testing this out.
Well, it's a broad mixture of advertisers which are jumping on it. But you also have on one hand side the classic big TV spender, which see on one hand that we still love TV, but they see that their mass reach is more or less declining, but they like the opportunities of combining the strength of TV with the preciseness of digital targeting opportunities. And they also got the investment to add addressable or CTV campaigns in combination with the linear TV campaign, and also combine this, what Mike has said, in terms of cross targetings, that you get a completely holistic reach, minimizing the scatter losses between the different channels. So you get a complete overall video reach. This is one example or one opportunity, especially for the big ones. But it's also an interesting opportunity, of course, and mainly for them, for small and medium enterprises, which usually didn't got the chance to get into TV because the absolute investments that were required were much too high. And now they got the chance, and this is still the big opportunity for the switch in for the banners. For a production cost, I don't know, of 500 euros. And now for a production of 500 euros and a campaign, let's say starting up to 500 and 100,000 euros, now you get the chance to get into TV for the first time. And despite the decreasing reach figures, TV as a medium itself, or as a channel itself, still quite impressive reach figures. And therefore it's a highly interesting opportunity also for the classic non-classic TV advertisers to get into these fields. But when you ask about how
are they already doing, because I understand completely that they have the chance, but they have to understand the chance, they have to try it out, they have to, do you sort of, do education programs for smaller advertisers to understand what they can now use? Is this?
Yes, so there is still a lot of education necessary. First, to explain them what are the opportunities, what you can get out of the big screen, especially when you're an advertiser which is heavily performance driven and used to performance orientated campaigns, for example, on YouTube. And then of course you got the pricing gap there, because there is high premium inventory which you get within addressable TV, which is, from a CPM perspective, not going that much into details, but the CPM is on a much higher range versus a classic YouTube campaign. And therefore, you need to have good arguments telling them that this investment is worth to advertise in. And then, because reach figures or CPMs or whatever, these are just media figures. We don't do media for media. We do media to get advertising impact for our clients. And the publishers are quite open, if the requirements are given, that we are running researches to show that there is really an impact on especially branding KPIs, on awareness, on ad recall, but also on purchase attention, for example, that it's really worth to invest into these fields. And there's not just like, oh, this is a new advertising area, this is your hot shit at the moment, let's do it, but I don't get anything out of it. So then it wouldn't be just a long-running system. So therefore, we are really keen also in the collaboration with the publishers to set up as many researches as possible to really show the impact and the benefits, what you can get out of it. I think this is a main plus point if you can get of it. Yeah.
Every market needs to sort of establish it. And Mike, we have 2 more topics to go through. So I have a really quick question for Michael. I mean, are there also advertisers that discover that with doing much more targeted, smaller, cheaper campaigns, they can have the same effect as they used to have with doing these mass campaigns on all the channels? I mean, this would be nice for the advertisers, not so nice for the broadcasters, of course.
Well, I mean, as Robin mentioned, there are always 2 sides. One side is, of course, when you have a very new or innovative channel or approach, then you have to have a proof that it's working in case of KPIs for your brand or for sales in case of doing studies and researches. And on the other hand, yes, of course, you have the beauty of ATV. It has not only one single argument to convince clients, but for example, if you have a national broadcaster or national advertiser, maybe he wants to strengthen his brand in a region where he's not very well known. So in that case, it, for example, makes completely sense to cut off the whole regional scatter loss, and then you're talking about an efficiency you gained. If it's 50% of your regional that you don't have to cover, then you're gaining an efficiency of 50%, for example. Or the question is, how many is it worth if you have a huge TV campaign to gain this extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of additional reach, net reach within a TV campaign who already gained 60, 70, 80, maybe 80% reach within the target group. So these are the intelligent and the smart approaches where
which is good because it makes them start to think and then calculate and then get into it, and they have to innovate as well. Well, let's move to the next two topics because we only have 10 minutes left. My God, the time flies. One thing is utilizing metadata. So a lot of what people watch, when they watch it, you have demographic information, but of course there are a lot of other information sources as well about individuals. It can be by street and zip code. It can be what they actually do online and whether they sign up for things. Francesco, what are the data sources that are for RAI now the ones you are keen to develop to have more information about the consumers, the people that watch the shows?
This is a very important key point. As I told you before, Monique, we start from the first data collecting about 20 million subscriber on RaiPlay, and then we in the first part we start to use this number in terms of mainly advertising KPI, in terms of content, what kind of content, how many times, and then starting on the profiling cluster, we mainly use contextual campaign and geolocal campaign. So this is the first block, but now we make important step, and we start to sell also the data, and we enrich those number, and we have a Neodata DMP, ex-Audi, and so we try to match all our number of our subscriber and matching, and we try to propose to the market a sales strategy with the inference data starting from our historical numbers and then enrich with our internal research. A very important point is about the research now. So we move from just contextual and geolocal, and now we can plan, again, starting from the top content, as you can imagine on our product, and we start to plan also on social demo. So if you want a woman 25, 44, and we can go deeper on the interest, and we follow the standard IAB interest. Then we create also 20-file pre-work profile with our number and our user, and then we can work just on personas. So you can match all the different
you enrich
classes.
The data, you add your own research, and you make it more granular and more.
And then the important thing, as I anticipated before, starting from the digital brief, match those profiles, these custom, these personas with TV program. So once we have identified the right profile from the digital data and the digital number, we move with the data bank, GfK, Nielsen, and so on, and identify the program with the best affinity index of the digital profile. And so we create a total video campaign with different user experience, with linear content and on-demand content, but starting with the digital brief.
Yeah. So you start with the advertiser, make the profile, then find the program, and then develop the campaign. Eva, you have this your Max Reach program, which is very successful. So what kind of data do you use for that?
So we have very huge reach of HbbTV. It's around 30% of Czech householders, but it's because it's for free, so we don't have subscribers. So we cannot use the data as from DMP and so on, because no one agree with this data. So we use just basic data from the linear layer. It's just what the TV device has seen or have not seen. So it's just this basic stuff, because no one agree with the other data, as I already said. So we just use this basic, if the TV devices was on the program or was not.
Yeah, yeah. Michael and Robert, I mean, we almost have to move. We have 5 minutes left, and we want to have a very, very quick response to harmonization challenges. But if you look in the German market, third-party integration and CRM onboarding is probably pretty advanced as compared to other markets. Are there examples that you can give where you feel this will be going?
Yeah. So, Robin, may I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's beside using first-party data or second-party data, or even implementing third-party data. The third approach would be exactly as you mentioned, using client data or data segments to address their target within the portfolio of the broadcasters of us. And we have already executed first campaigns where the client data set was relevant for serving specialty creative ad within the ATV campaign. For example, this could be potential customer who have bought a client's product yet, or just visited the website very occasionally. So who haven't bought or just visited occasionally. So more focus within the communication onto the upper funnel with that approach. Or you can have, for example, households who own pets. That's a very specified target group. These are sometimes data that you can't gather by yourself or will gain by yourself. So this concept of using the client data is starting to be acknowledged and wider or step by step used in the German market.
And you have the feeling that this is actually where things will be going, that
of course,
in the end, advertisers will come with their own data sets, combine it with the broadcasters' data sets, and therefore be able to be super, super specific.
Yeah, I mean,
much more than any broadcaster could ever be.
Yeah, for us, it's for example, could be very interesting to implement because as a broadcaster, you probably maybe you have login data or you have usage data, social profiles, as mentioned before. But data from the upper funnel, for example, that's why it's pretty important to have to make cooperations with, for example, e-commerce data, so you can get more into the upper funnel when it comes to purchase behavior and predicted purchase of special products that you can offer as a targeting.
Now, we have a whole topic that we almost didn't touch, and we have 2 minutes left. So I'm going to ask Robert about this. Of course, you are all innovating, building this new market, working with advertisers, working with networks, working with broadcasters. But it's not standardized yet, and it's also not one market yet. I mean, it's different markets combining. It's pretty confusing. Where do you think this will go? Do you think a huge standardization is coming soon, which some parties might like and others might not?
Yes, it's a matter of interest. I have to say, and I'm afraid that we will have, especially in the short term run, that we'll have even a stronger fragmentation, because everyone is building their own solutions, their own targeting, buying opportunities, especially when it comes to the next field, for example, programmatic TV, which is kind of the new thing. And every publisher, like the ones of Google and Facebook, etc., there are, from my point of view, especially in the next time, there are more and more walled gardens and less walled gardens. And this is really a challenge, especially not only for us agencies, but especially from the advertisers. I mean, there is this D-Force initiative between Ad Alliance and 7-One Media. So buying together Addressable TV inventory and online video inventory together. We are one platform, we are one DSP. But I have to admit that there was huge progress when they launched it, but the progress is not that loud anymore, and what the publishers are more investing at the moment are their own solutions. So I'm afraid that especially in the next years, we will have more fragmentation, more silos than more harmonization and more standards. But I think especially because there are these bigger collaborations, these bigger initiatives, where especially when it comes to one reach currency combining TV, online video, CTV and ATV, etc., which is this big initiative which is running worldwide. I think this will come in the long-term run, but here we are talking about Liesiat 2025 or 2026, for example. This will be the long-term, not the short-term. So we have to still suffer a few years of fragmentation.
I know you all have opinions about this, but we have to round this up. The time's up. I hope in the next few years you'll keep innovating, because while those standards may not be there and it's not all as clear as it could be, this is the time to find things out and to be creative and to see what works and what doesn't, and to create a completely new market. So good luck with that, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
For our audience, there's a short break and then there's a special presentation back on Viva. All right. See you later.
Thank you, Monique. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.